I mentioned in a few previous videos that I am not like totally a fan of movies that are a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but that doesn't mean that I like totally hate them. It just means that I don't like completely understand like the hype for them. You know, I would get into those movies, eventually, but as of right now, I want to wait until they're like a lot less overhyped as they are now. And but there are like quite a few movies based off of comic books that I truly enjoy, particularly like the darker, you know, comic book movies, because they're like a lot edgier and more, you know, more like visually fascinating. Like, of course, you can never go wrong with Tim Burton's first two Batman movies. Before Joel Schumacher took over, Batman and Batman Returns, two great movies. I love the atmosphere, the set design, the performances. Michael Keaton nails as, the Dark Knight. And then, of course, you get, you know, Christopher Nolan's take on the Dark Knight. Batman Returns, The Dark Knight, of course, and The Dark Knight Rises. All three great movies. And then you get movies like Darkman, directed by Sam Raimi. The guy who did the Evil Dead series, as well as the movie A Simple Plan, which is like similar to earlier Coen Brothers movies. Yeah, that movie is great. Darkman is awesome. And then there's also, Robert Rodriguez's Sin City. That's an awesome film, very film noir, black and white type visual design, great cast, great characters, great performances, great, action scenes, just all around fantastic. This movie is a cut above the rest, in my opinion. Although I wouldn't say that, because that's just too much of a bold statement, but it's almost closer to that capacity. The Crow is one of the greatest movies based off a graphic novel ever made. It is absolutely beautiful. It is absolutely, melancholy. The set design, the gothic atmosphere, the Brandon Lee's excellent portrayal as Eric Draven. And sadly, of course, we all know that this was the movie in which he was killed, like, and that they had to use like computer imagery to enable him for the rest of the film. And this is like one of the best films out there. And this of course spawned like three sequels. I have The Crow, City of Angels, but I wouldn't say that it's as good as this one, but it is good in its own way. I do like. I liked City of Angels, for what it is. I mean, a lot of people hated it because it's an inferior follow up, and the producers made so many cuts. It was originally supposed to be a much different film than this, but the producers, they changed the storyline to make it kind of an exact copy of this film. But anyway, this movie is directed by Alex Proyas, who's directed the movie Dark City, which is another great film. Very similar in tone and set design as this film, although it is not a movie based off of a comic. It's just, an original concept. And that is awesome. And one of the great things about this particular movie is the soundtrack. Almost every one of the songs on the soundtrack album is awesome. The Cure's Burn, that plays a pivotal role in the film. And Nine Inch Nails' cover of Joy Division's Dead Souls. Basically, the whole album is awesome. The band Thrill Kill Cult, appears in the film. Another band that appears in the movie is called Medicine, with the girl singer. That's the first band to appear in the club scene, Top Dollars Club. And like the entire soundtrack, is awesome. Rollins Band, Pantera, uh, Violent Femmes, even, and like Helmet. You can never go wrong with Helmet. Just the entire soundtrack is awesome. There's a few bands that I'm trying to get into. There's this band For Love Not Lisa. I'm trying to find an album of them, and this singer named Jane Siberry. She actually sings. I wouldn't say it's like the theme song to this movie, but the song is like basically the theme. Well, it's very thematically similar to the plot element in this film. The song "It Can't Rain All the Time," you know, a quote that's said throughout this film. It's so yeah, that those are two artists I'm trying to get into more. But there's this one band on the soundtrack that does not get the credit that it deserves, and it's this band. This is a band called Machines of Loving Grace. It's they're like an industrial rock group. This is their most accomplished album, Concentration. This was released in 1993. The song that appears in the movie, but is called Golgotha Tenement Blues, but that song was basically made for that movie, for the soundtrack. It does not appear, I don't think it appears on any of their like actual albums, and it certainly does not appear on this album because this was actually released, a year before The Crow was made. And like I said, that song that's in The Crow was made for that movie. But I truly enjoy this album. I truly enjoy this band. They've made just 3 albums, which is why I think that they're so underappreciated. Because while most of the bands on the Crow soundtrack have had an immense amount of popularity, this band basically disbanded before they reached the 2000s. They've been around for primarily during the 90s, because like they've made just 3 albums. But like I said, this is their more accomplished album because the band is basically widely known for the single Butterfly Wings, which is track 2 on this album. That's a good song. That's a great song. That it has a great music video to it. But the entire album is awesome. The song Butterfly Wings also appears on the soundtrack to The Punisher Warzone, which is another good comic book based film, a guilty pleasure of mine actually. And that's actually how the song, got a little more famous because like the soundtrack to Punisher Warzone actually was kind of famous because it had modern metal groups like Slipknot and Static X on it, and I like those bands. But anyway, like the whole album is just awesome. Most of the shit you hear on this album kind of sounds similar to what you would hear at a nightclub. Like I wouldn't say that this is a bad thing, but you could probably it almost sounds like similar to what you would hear in one of those early 90s suspense movies where a character goes into a night a BDSM club, and you know there's industrial rock blaring on inside the club. It's you would probably it's almost this entire album is something you would hear at that kind of nightclub. I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. I mean, it is a bold statement considering you're comparing BDSM to a band, but whatever. So anyway, this band is truly awesome. This entire album is I found this album at Tech Noir Records, and for $3, I couldn't pass up. I did see this album one time at Half Price Books, but I did not get it, and I felt like shit afterwards. And I was so happy to find this album when I went to that record shop, and now it's part of my collection, and it's another ad. It's another add to my slow slowly, like, I wouldn't say assimilating collection of industrial rock CDs. Like I said, I'm slowly getting into it. Well, I've liked it for a while, but I'm, getting into it a lot more than I have been, like I said in a couple of other videos. So, this band, if you're into like bands like Lords of Acid and Beat Manifesto, because like this band has like similar, sound to those bands I just mentioned, I would check this band out. I would check out this particular album. Although they have made two other albums, but this is basically the album that they're known for. So if you come across this CD anywhere, I would check this out, especially for a price like this. If you're a bargain hunter like I am, and you see this for just like a buck or two, just pick it up and add it to your collection. So, Machines of Loving Grace. Their album Concentration, released through Mammoth Records, a division of Atlantic Records, I guess, and released in 1993, and that's it. Thanks for watching.